If you smell what The Rock is cooking. The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock says, The Rock. Voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me. You got your rules and your religion, all designed to keep you safe. But when rules start getting broken, you start questioning your faith. I have a voice that is my savior, hates to love and loves to hate. I have a voice that has the knowledge and the power to your fate. I hear voices crying, I see heroes dying, I taste blood that's trying, I feel tension rising.
Hello and welcome to the NXT Wrestling Talk Show with Mr. Rock Jones and
John Randy Smith.
as we come at you with the home stretch to WrestleMania, which also means NXT giving us a takeover.
Yes, and for the first time in NXT history, it'll be the first two-night takeover.
Taking lessons from WrestleMania last year and WrestleMania this year. This will also be the first time since 2016, or June of 2016, that there has been a midweek takeover, with the Hall of Fame airing the day before and SmackDown airing the day after, night 2. So we have 10 matches in total, 5 taking place on each night. So let's run through the card.
So let's go. Let's start with night 1, which takes place on April 7th.
Now it's worth noting here that night 1 will air on a Wednesday, the April 7th, as just said, and it will air on USA Network at the time slot of a usual NXT episode. And will be the final NXT to air on a Wednesday, because as of the following week, NXT is moving Tuesdays, marking the end of Wednesday Night Wars.
Yes.
But in terms of matches, we have Pete Dunne versus Kushida,
In a one-on-one matchup.
which is kind of thrown together as a result of a battle royal match we will talk about in a moment.
Yes.
And then we have a triple threat tag team match for the vacant NXT Tag Team Championships.
I bet you're wondering, hang on a second, what happened to Ollie Lorcan and Danny Burch? Well, injury happened.
Yes, during the tag team match on March 17th, Danny Burch,
Between Ollie Lorcan, Danny Burch, Finn Balor, and Karrion Kross.
Danny Burch suffered a injury and was forced to have William Regal vacate the tag team championships.
The injury in question is a separated shoulder.
It's just not good most of the time. Sometimes you can get lucky with them, sometimes you just can't.
So who do we see walking out of night one of Stand and Deliver? And no, we're hoping that the name, we know the name of the pay-per-view does have the same name as a famous song, but moving on.
Well,
I can see MSK walking out at this match.
well, considering that MSK won the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic,
It's pretty obvious the way they're going to go.
and the fact that they did have, well, they were due a tag team championship match anyway, weren't they?
Yes, until
As a
the
result,
Grizzled Young Bear.
Grizzled Young Bear took them out, and Guerrero del Fantasma kind of has their own little issue to deal with as well.
But we'll get on to that when we move on to night two.
Now, we also have a 6-man gauntlet eliminator match to determine the number one contender for the North American Championship on night 2. So, this is going to take a bit of explaining to say how it went, so bear with us.
Yeah, so this might be a mouthful, so sit back and grab a drink.
2 weeks ago on NXT, it was announced that they would have a 12-man battle royal. Well, this gauntlet match was decided to see who would become the number one contender. Then it was revealed that they would have a 12-man battle royal, which took place this past week. So here is where it gets a little bit complicated.
Yes.
We had this 12-man battle royal, but only the top 6 competitors go into this gauntlet match. So the first 6 to be eliminated were out of luck, including Pete Dunne and Kushida.
Yes.
But then it gets a little bit more complicated with following the rules. Because we all know the gauntlet match has an order of entry. So after the 6 competitors in the match were revealed in the Battle Royal match continued to determine the order of entry into the gauntlet match, which was basically determined by when someone was eliminated and who's the
Yes.
ultimate winner. So the first two into the match will be Leon Ruff and Isaiah Swerve Scott.
Yes.
Then
Yes.
we have Bronson Reed entering the match.
Then we have the new $1 Million Man, Cameron Grimes.
Then Dexter Lumis will pick the bones of who's left after that confrontation. And finally, we have LA Knight.
Yes, he'll be entering the match last.
And whoever wins this match faces Johnny Takeover on night 2 for the North American Championship.
So going back to night 1, we have a United Kingdom Championship match as Walter defends his championship against No One Will Survive in Tommaso Ciampa.
Now, there may be a bit of confusion here, because night 1 of NXT TakeOver will air April 7th.
Which is on a Wednesday.
However, on the same day as night 2, April 8th, a special NXT UK event is also scheduled to air, which has advertised on it Walter vs. Rampage for the United Kingdom Championship.
Yes, so WWE kind of shot themselves in the foot here.
Well, kind of. And in a way, it kind of also depends on whether that match is pre-recorded or not.
Yeah.
And then the final match on TakeOver Night 1, and the match which is confirmed to be the main event. Io Shirai defends the NXT Women's Championship against Raquel Gonzalez.
Who will have Dakota Kai in her corner. And judging by events on last night's NXT, this is going to be a pretty brutal match.
Yes, and really, this has been building. They've done a good job of building Raquel Gonzalez in the year or so that she's been in the WWE, unlike on the main roster, but that's a different thing. And this has kind of been in the works since about War Games.
No, since War Games.
And spoiler alert, and I will be amazed if this goes any other way. So, spoiler alert now. It's time for Io Shirai to kiss that title goodbye.
I couldn't agree more. Now we move on to night 2, which will be on April.
Now we have a little bit more of explaining to do. We did touch on this when we talked about Fastlane, but we have to talk about it again. And that is that the Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart will defend the newly created NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. Yes, you heard us right. NXT Women's Tag Team Championship. So that the main titles have nothing to do with NXT anymore, following what we are now calling the NXT Screwjob.
Yes, and as we said, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart will defend the NXT Women's Tag Team titles against the 2 female members of Johnny Gargano's faction the way of the Poison Pixie, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell.
Here I can't decide what to go with.
Can you not?
I like the team of Moon and Blackheart, and they just won the titles from Miguel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai instantaneously, an hour after the titles were awarded to them in the first place. But that may simply have been done so that the heel team didn't have to beat another heel team to get the titles. And
Yeah, quite probably so.
and Moon and Blackheart could simply be used as transitional champions. Which would be a real shame.
Yeah, it would be.
Let's Takeover Vengeance Day. We saw the implosion of the Undisputed Era.
Implosion being the key word there.
With Adam Cole going after Kyle O'Reilly and Roderick Strong stuck in the middle.
And tension will continue to build over the past few weeks of NXT.
And forcing them to go at each other head to head in a non-sanctioned match.
And even at one point, when they started fighting on the entranceway, when Kyle O'Reilly called him down after NXT went off the air, Adam Cole went so far to punch William Regal, the NXT general manager, in the face.
There are a few considerable factors to this which could play a role in the outcome. And that is the other two members of the Undisputed Era.
In one of them being injured at the moment in Bobby Fish.
And he can make some kind of influence on this match. And the other one being Roderick Strong.
Who was stuck in the middle of this situation.
This feud / rivalry / match, to me, almost has SummerSlam 2002 vibes all over it, with Triple H and Shawn Michaels.
Pretty much exactly the same way.
And considering that Adam Cole is basically Shawn Michaels' pet project.
So now we move over to the match that we've already touched about, which was Johnny Gargano defending his NXT North American Championship against the winner of that six-man gauntlet eliminator match to determine the number one contender for his title.
So then we jump to something else which was conveniently linked to Shawn Michaels.
Yes, and a championship situation that was done because of COVID-19.
So, yes. On January 25th, 2020, Jordan Devlin would win the NXT Cruiserweight Championship.
At NXT Worlds Collide.
However, due to travel restrictions, when
COVID-19
hit the world
and caused a worldwide shutdown, Jordan Devlin was stuck in the UK.
So NXT decided to host a tournament to crown an interim champion. That tournament was won by
Gargano del Fantasma, always known as Santos Escobar,
who has been defending the Cruiserweight Championship on the NXT for the past 10 months or so. But then, a few weeks ago, Jordan Devlin would return to NXT.
signaling the end of the travel ban between the UK and the US.
With his own Cruiserweight Championship.
That he's been holding since January.
So, where have we seen this before?
Oh yeah,
Two-
right. What's into figure one?
Two superstars, two titles, both claiming to be the true champion. Seems to stand a striking resemblance to a situation that was going on with the Intercontinental Championship going into WrestleMania 10.
Oh yes, of course.
And how did they work that out? Oh yes, that's right, a ladder match.
Which was hinted on NXT 2 weeks ago when Santos Escobar and Jordan Devlin were staring each other down. We then hear the music of Shawn Michaels, who doesn't say anything but puts a ladder in the ring and leaves the ladder there to signal the reason that we're going to have a ladder match to crown the undisputed NXT Cruiserweight Champion.
And it's appropriate considering that Shawn Michaels was one of the superstars involved in the Intercontinental title match at WrestleMania 10.
Yes. And this next match has spoiler alert written all over it.
Possibly, but possibly not.
As Finn Balor put his NXT Championship on the line against a man who had to vacate the championship due to injury, Karrion Kross.
Yes, Karrion Kross would defeat Keith Lee for the NXT Championship at Takeover 30. However, he would only hold the championship for 4 days.
Yes, because unfortunately Karrion Kross suffered an injury during his match with Keith Lee.
That injury would be a separated shoulder. Now, where have we heard one of those recently?
Oh yes, I wonder why.
So then we would have a 60-minute fatal 4-way Iron Man match. Yes, you heard us right.
Iron Man match.
Fatal 4-way as well. Took on the September 1st episode of NXT Super Tuesday between Finn Balor, Adam Cole, Tommaso Ciampa, and Johnny Gargano. However,
Yes.
that ended in a tie between Balor and Cole. Then a singles match was determined to see who would win the vacant title. And Finn Balor became only the third person to have multiple NXT Championship reigns and has held the championship longer than most people thought he probably would.
Yeah.
However, Karrion Kross does indeed look back to take the title that he never lost.
And bearing in mind that during this match, he will have his manager, Scarlett Bordeaux, in his corner.
Not that should make a difference, although it probably will.
Yeah, so let us run you through the NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver cards for Night 1 on April 7th and Night 2 on April 8th.
On Night 1, Pete Dunne goes one-on-one with Kushida.
Also on Night 1, MSK will take on the Grizzled Young Veterans and the Del Fantasma in a triple threat tag team match to crown the new NXT Tag Team Champions.
In a 6-man gauntlet eliminator match, Leon Ruff takes on Isaiah Scott, Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, Dexter Lumis and LA Knight, with the winner facing the North American champion on night 2.
Walter will defend his NXT United Kingdom title against Tommaso Ciampa.
And Io Shirai will defend the NXT Women's Championship against Raquel Gonzalez.
On night 2, April 8th, Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart will defend their NXT Women's Tag Team titles against The Ways, Candice LeRae, and Indy Hartwell.
Adam Cole takes on Kyle O'Reilly in an unsanctioned match.
Johnny Gargano will defend his NXT North American Championship against the winner of the Gauntlet Eliminator on night 1.
Jordan Devlin takes on Santana Exava in a ladder match to determine who is the undisputed Cruiserweight Champion.
And finally, on night 2, on April 8th, Finn Balor will defend his NXT Championship against Karrion Kross.
This should be a good appetizer for what is to come a few days afterwards.
Yes.
So, with that being said, next week we will bring you our reactions to NXT Takeover Stand and Deliver, along with the finalized, hopefully, match card to WrestleMania.
Otherwise known as Coronamania 3 and 4. So until then, he's been
Lisa Rock Jones, and he's been
Sean Randy Smith, and we will see you all next week.